Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and partners, before I conclude this 2 days conference, allow me to say thank you to Dr. Abdallah Al-Zahrani. I must confess that I'm very moved with your presentation because I lived in Saudi Arabia 30 years ago, and we have done so much since 1993. It was in 1993. And so I think that what you have done shows so well what we have talked about the last 2 days, that cultural heritage protection, cultural heritage can be a key element, a key vector of sustainable development. So congratulations to Saudi Arabia, and we are very pleased to have you on board at ALIPH. So thank you all for being still here this evening. It has been 2 very productive days, so thank you very much. I must confess that I'm exhausted, but maybe you are not. and I just want to, with my team, and I want to thank my team. I want to thank Sandra, Bastien, Nicolas, Baptiste, Maria, Elke, Othman, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I think that we can applaud them because they did a great job. Especially Nicolas, who has been working for the preparation of this conference for 9 months. It was his very first long internship, and I think it will be he will always remember this 9 months in Geneva. Unfortunately, the weather was not with us the last 2 days, but so please come back to Geneva. You will see it's not always rainy. It can be sunny, and when it's sunny, it's wonderful. So I take away the following key ideas of our 2 days, and of course, it will not be exhaustive, but I think that it's part of the discussion that we had. So first, although we entered this conference to address a linear evolution from crisis to peace, it quickly became clear that we are never in a fixed state, but always dealing with a fluctuating situation, a continuum between crisis and peace, and also between tangible and intangible heritage, and to some extent between rights and action on the ground. That means that we have to take into consideration this constant fluidity, which requires practical agility and open-mindedness. However, there is one distinction that Metin Arditi reminded us of last night, which is the one between culture and civilization. I thought that yesterday it was a very interesting distinction. Second, obviously, we need to take greater account of heritage issues at the international level. Heritage can't be absent from the outset from humanitarian development aid or stabilization efforts. Because behind heritage, there are women and men, memories, stories, dreams, development, of course, and often beauty. I think that we forget beauty too often. To me, it's also part of cultural heritage. To do away with heritage is to do away with our deepest humanity. I witness this attachment to heritage as a beacon of hope every day in the field, as again in Syria and Lebanon, where I was 10 days ago, especially with my dear friend Sarkis Khoury. And when you have a friend like Sarkis Khoury, you can be sure that we'll spend 2 long days visiting all the sites of Lebanon, but it's always a pleasure. Integrating heritage from the beginning strengthens each sector, optimizes funding, and has the potential to generate better and more sustainable results. Heritage issues must be raised to the highest political level in international forums. To better advocate for this goal, we need more data and compelling stories. Third, legal progress is also needed, both in enforcing existing text and at the national local level, integrating heritage into disaster planning. It is also crucial to implement the concept of cultural rights across heritage conservation, texts, and approaches. As the Special Rapporteur nicely stated, even in the field of cultural rights, we need less talk and more action. I don't know if the rapporteur, I don't know if she's here. I don't know if the rapporteur knew that at ALIPH our motto is action, action, action. That I do think that we are definitely on the same line. Fourth, we need to break down, I thought that you knew that, because you know you... Of course I did. Fourth, we need to break down the silos. We all work a lot, but probably still too much in our own silos that may still exist between the military and cultural sectors, between humanitarian and development aid, between public and private, between the United Nations and NGOs. We need to coordinate better, share networks better, and pool information and resources better in the field. This is what we learned from our Lebanese friends, and this is what we can do here in Geneva. This is all the more important, and this is my fifth point, as international aid, both public and private, is shrinking. It is in fact the spirit of international solidarity that is threatened. Faced with this challenge, let's redouble our spirit of solidarity. This is not the time for everyone for themselves, but rather the time for strengthened synergies and joint efforts. Among the proposals that have been made today, I retain the idea of creating a working group on new financial instruments adapted to cultural heritage specificities, and at ALIPH we are ready to launch this idea tomorrow. That's the way we work at ALIPH, you know. So, last but not least, working with local population and communities shouldn't be just a box that we check, you know, because to be honest, I come from another field, and when I arrived, I've heard a lot about communities. And you know, when you are French, that's a word we don't like, communities, because there is only one community, the national community. But it is because that doesn't mean the same in French and in English. Communities in English means local population, and of course we have to work with local population. And to be honest, I was at the beginning a bit, you know, fed up with this. Oh, no. But it is true. It is not a box that we have to check. It is key, working with local community. So it is essential for effective and sustainable heritage protection, especially in fragile or conflict-affected areas. Local actors, particularly women, and once again, it's not a box that we check, provide critical access to heritage and operational capacity. It is not a question of pondering to the moment. We, men, have a lot to learn from the concrete, pragmatic, and courageous way in which women mobilize in favor of threatened heritage in Ukraine. And I want to say thank you to Galina for being with us, and to congratulate all the women who work with you for the protection of cultural heritage in Ukraine. In Afghanistan, yeah, we can. In Afghanistan, in Gaza, I also want to thank our dear friend from West Bank. In Sudan, our friend from Sudan, 2 Sudanese are with us today, and they're here. So congratulations to you, because what you do is just amazing. Lebanon, there are some, Syria, among many others. And if you are interested in what they do, please have a look at the exhibition that we have just along the lake. It's a 10 minutes walk, and we'll see all these women fully committed to the protection of their cultural heritage. Finally, we also need to better take into consideration local solutions, traditional knowledge, and I think that's exactly what you said, and it's very key. So thank you for taking this idea on the table. So these are just some of the ideas and solutions that we have heard over the past 2 days. You can be sure that they will guide us here at ALIPH. So I'm a bit sad because that's the end of this conference, but once again, thank you all for being with us, and I hope we'll have the opportunity to see you again very soon here in Geneva or elsewhere. Thank you very much.